We asked an artificial intelligence model, that had been trained on 5 billion images that were paired with descriptive texts, to paint for us the literal term, stock market. We told the model to generate each painting based on the styles of specific great painters that we listed. Herein, we present to you, stock market. Each generated image is accompanied by a bio for the selected painter. This video is brought to you by TickerDD. See our other videos for ticker-specific observational analysis. Capitalist brothers and sisters, come stonk with us. Here is stock market, generated in the style of Vincent van Gogh. Vincent van Gogh, born in 1853 and died in 1890, was a Dutch post-impressionist painter who is widely regarded as one of the most influential and celebrated artists of all time. Born in the Netherlands, he spent much of his life in France, where he produced the majority of his work. One interesting fact about Van Gogh is that he was a deeply religious man who struggled with questions of faith and spirituality throughout his life. He was particularly drawn to the teachings of Christ and saw his art as a way of expressing his spiritual beliefs. Another lesser-known aspect of Van Gogh's life is his love of literature. He was an avid reader and often drew inspiration from the works of writers such as Charles Dickens, Émile Zola, and Victor Hugo. He even wrote a number of letters to his brother, Theo, in which he discussed his thoughts on literature and shared his own attempts at writing. Van Gogh's personal struggles with mental illness are well known, but less widely known is his interest in alternative and holistic medicine. He experimented with a number of unconventional treatments for his ailments, including electrotherapy and a strict vegetarian diet. Here is stock market, generated in the style of Utagawa Hiroshige. Utagawa Hiroshige, born in 1797 and died 1858, was a Japanese ukiyo-e artist who is widely regarded as one of the greatest masters of the form. Born in Edo, now Tokyo, he was the son of a fire warden and began his career as an apprentice to the ukiyo-e master Utagawa Toyohiro. One interesting fact about Hiroshige is that he was a devout Buddhist and drew inspiration from the natural world and the changing seasons. Many of his works feature landscapes, birds, flowers, and other elements of nature, and he often incorporated traditional Japanese symbols and motifs into his art. Another lesser-known aspect of Hiroshige's life is his interest in Western art and culture. He was particularly fascinated by the art of the Dutch masters, and his work shows the influence of their use of perspective and color. He even created a series of prints called 8 Views of Edo in Western Style, which combined traditional Japanese landscapes with Western-style perspective and composition. Here is stock market, generated in the style of Rembrandt. Rembrandt van Rijn, born in 1606 and died in 1669, was a Dutch painter and etcher who is widely regarded as one of the greatest artists in the history of Western art. Born in Leiden, he began his career as a painter and printmaker in Amsterdam, where he quickly gained a reputation for his skill in creating portraits and landscapes. One interesting fact about Rembrandt is that he was deeply interested in the art and culture of the East. He collected a wide variety of objects from Asia and the Middle East, including weapons, textiles, and ceramics, and incorporated these objects into his paintings and drawings. Another lesser-known aspect of Rembrandt's life is his interest in science and technology. He was fascinated by optics and the properties of light, and his paintings often demonstrate his understanding of these principles. He was also an accomplished printmaker, and his use of etching and engraving techniques helped to revolutionize the field of printmaking. Here is stock market, generated in the style of Salvador Dali. Salvador Dali, born in 1904 and died in 1989, was a Spanish painter, sculptor, and writer who is widely regarded as one of the most influential and iconic artists of the 20th century. Born in Figueres, Spain, he began his artistic career as a young man and quickly gained a reputation for his highly imaginative and surrealist works. One interesting fact about Salvador Dali is that he was also a skilled filmmaker. He collaborated with the director Luis Buñuel on several films, including the surreal masterpiece, Un Chien Andalou, which remains a classic of the surrealist genre. Another lesser-known aspect of Dali's life is his interest in science and technology. He was fascinated by the emerging fields of physics and biology, and incorporated scientific ideas and principles into his paintings and sculptures. He even designed a number of innovative objects, such as the lobster telephone and the Mae West Lips sofa, which blurred the boundaries between art and design. Here is Stock Market, generated in the style of Emiliano di Cavalcanti. Emiliano di Cavalcanti, born in 1897 and died in 1976, was a Brazilian painter who played a key role in the development of modern art in Brazil. Born in Rio de Janeiro, he studied art in Brazil and Europe before returning to Brazil and becoming a leading figure in the modernist movement. One interesting fact about Emiliano di Cavalcanti is that he was also a talented writer and poet. He published several volumes of poetry and prose, and was a vocal advocate for the importance of literature and the arts in Brazilian culture. Another lesser-known aspect of Di Cavalcanti's life is his interest in political activism. He was a member of the Brazilian Communist Party and was involved in various political causes throughout his life. His paintings often incorporated political themes and commentary, and he was known for his support of the working class and marginalized groups. Here is Stock Market, generated in the style of Gu Kaizi. Gu Kaizi, born around 344 and died around 406 AD, was a Chinese painter and calligrapher who is considered one of the most important figures in the history of Chinese art. Born in Wuxi, China, he served as a court painter during the Eastern Jin dynasty and was renowned for his skill in creating delicate, highly detailed paintings. One interesting fact about Gu Kaizi is that he was one of the earliest Chinese artists to write extensively about the art of painting. He wrote several treatises on the subject, including On Painting, which remains a highly influential text in the field of Chinese art history. Another lesser-known aspect of Gu Kaizi's life is his interest in Buddhism and Taoism. He was known for his ability to depict religious and mythological scenes with great sensitivity and subtlety, and his paintings often include figures from Chinese folklore and religious traditions. Here is Stock Market, generated in the style of Lois Mailou Jones. Lois Mailou Jones, born in 1905 and died in 1998, was an African-American artist who made significant contributions to the world of modern art. Born in Boston, Massachusetts, she studied at the School of the Museum of Fine Arts and later at the Académie Julian in Paris, where she was exposed to the work of such masters as Matisse and Picasso. One interesting fact about Lois Mailou Jones is that she was a skilled textile designer, in addition to her work as a painter. She created a number of striking designs for fabrics, wallpapers, and other decorative objects, and her work in this area was highly regarded. Another lesser-known aspect of Jones' life is her interest in African art and culture. She was deeply influenced by the work of African artists, and her paintings often incorporate elements of African design and motifs. She even traveled to Africa several times throughout her career to study the art and culture of the continent. Here is Stock Market, generated in the style of Salua Raouda Choucair. Salua Raouda Choucair, born in 1916 and died in 2017, was a Lebanese artist known for her innovative sculptures and abstract paintings. Born in Beirut, she studied at the American University of Beirut and later at the École Nationale Supérieure des Beaux-Arts in Paris. One interesting fact about Salua Raouda Choucair is that she was interested in mathematics and geometry, which strongly influenced her work. She often incorporated mathematical principles into her sculptures, creating complex and intricate forms that reflect her fascination with order and symmetry. Another lesser-known aspect of Choucair's life is her interest in Islamic art and culture. She drew inspiration from traditional Islamic motifs and designs, and her work often reflects her desire to create a dialogue between the traditions of the past and the innovations of the present. Here is Stock Market, generated in the style of Claude Monet. Claude Monet, born in 1840 and died in 1926, was a French Impressionist painter known for his iconic landscapes and outdoor scenes. Born in Paris, Monet grew up in Le Havre, a coastal town in Normandy, where he developed a love for the sea and the natural world. One interesting fact about Monet is that he was an avid horticulturist and gardener. In 1883, he moved to the small village of Gaverny, where he created a stunning garden filled with water lilies, Japanese bridges, and other flowers and plants. This garden became a source of inspiration for many of his later works, and he often painted the same scenes at different times of day and in different seasons to capture the changing effects of light and atmosphere. Another lesser-known aspect of Monet's life is his interest in Japanese art and culture. He was particularly drawn to Japanese woodblock prints, which influenced his own artistic style and led him to experiment with new techniques and approaches. He even collected Japanese prints and decorative arts, and these objects can be seen in many of his later works.